Hello, friend. You're welcome to James Repository. I am James Chukwubuka Obochi, your anchor here in James Repository, and I'm a 200 level medicine and surgery student of Federal University, Wukari. Today, I've come to share with you guys why you may not be able to get admitted into the university this year despite your respective JAM scores. Now, it is clear that you guys have all written JAMB examination. Of course, it ended last weekend. Definitely, that is the preliminary to getting admitted into any Nigerian universities. And you guys, of course, have proved yourself to be eligible to have prepared for that examination vigorously. Most of you did that vigorously. And of course, you've gone into the exam hall and have written the exam. But the truth is that that is not where the struggle for admission ends. What you just did now is to draw the battle line, which just began. So, what it means is that you just began the battle of getting admitted into the university, meaning that you don't have to relapse because if you relapse, your joy of victory will not be complete. No matter the jam score you have, if you did not get admission, you've not can and you can you've not achieved anything and you cannot be termed a success. So you're not a success yet, not until your jam caps will change to congratulations, you have been successfully admitted. You are not yet a success. And so that is why I've come here today to share with you guys some of the factors that I know by experience would definitely prevent you from getting admitted if you're not careful of them and if you're not aware of them. Because one thing I know is that information is power. If you can get this information today and try to avoid the bad side of that information, of this information I'm going to give you, and incorporate the right side of it, no matter how difficult the journey of admission is, you will definitely conquer, and your name must be written in the admission list of some of the universities in Nigeria. That is what I've come here to do. So you have to sit back and get all your notes and, of course, your journal, write down something, and then try to incorporate everything that will come out of today's lecture from James Repository. And I'm telling you, you must be happy you're listening to today's video. But before we go on, I want you to please do me a favor by clicking the subscription button down there if you've not subscribed. Please, if you've not subscribed to James Repository before, please do me a favor to do that now. Just right now, click that subscription bell right there, click it. And then you can like the video too. And in the long run of the video, you can equally comment so as to help me get the best out of my presentation and see how to re-strategize and re-empower myself for effective presentation in subsequent videos to come. Now, having done that, let's get into those factors you have to know that have the potential to prevent you from getting into the university this year. Now, the number one factor is actually your JAM score. Yes, your JAM score has the potential to prevent you from getting admitted into the university this year. Now, some of you probably had a very high JAM score and some of you had low jam score, and that's what life is all about. Definitely in every examination, some people must come out with a very great performance and some other will be in the lower ebb of the performance range. So but that's not a problem because no matter the jam score you have, you are qualified to get admitted into the university provided you score from 120 and above. But those jam scores you have can either, what they would do is they can either prevent you from getting admitted into the university or they can help you to get admitted. But the truth is that no matter the range of your admission, of your jam score, you can still get admitted, whether it is a very low jam score or whether it's a very high jam score. But there are some factors you need to know that will help you to be able to maximize those scores and to get admitted. Even if you scored very high, you are also probably going to lose your admission this year. If only you will pay attention to what I will tell you now, you will not fall victim of such bad fate of life. Now, I will start with those that have very high JAM score. If you scored very high in this year's JAM examination, that's if you're able to score from 250 and above and 300 and above, you are indeed a scholar and you are indeed a genius. And that is the reason why you should pay attention to yourself, because that feeling of being a genius, of scoring high alone can hamper you from getting admitted. How does that work? Now, that's a psychological That's the psychological aspect. What happens is that your psychological being will get a kind of motivated from people encomiums and laurels. Because having scored high, people from your community and your environment will be, of course, giving you that praise as somebody who has scored high is inevitable. That's what it attracts. High jump score attracts people's praise, people's encomiums and people appraiser. They will, oh, guy, they'll tell you, guy, look at, you are the best in this community. Ah, guy, you don't know, in the church, you are the person that scored the highest jump score. Don't you know that do you know in our state your jump score is the highest? If not in the school, in our school, you scored highest. I know by the time they start giving you those eulogy and it start getting into your head, what happens is that your psychological self will absorb it and circulate it around your body. And what it will achieve is to give you that feeling of wow. So I have been able to achieve this great jump score. Wow. So I am the best actually in my community. Wow. Definitely I am the best in my school. This is remarkable. And once you start having that feeling, yourself has absorbed that. And when that feeling of having arrived comes into you, it will reduce your struggling mentality and it will stampede all of that passion you had ab initio when you started preparing for your jam score. All of us, we know there's this initial passion that comes with jam preparation. When you told yourself, I will definitely score high, and you did all the reading, did all this subscription for data, browsing or information needed, and solving past questions. Those are the ab initial passion that gave you the jam score you had. But by the time the jam score came and people start praising you, the end result is that you will reduce your passion, and those initial effective preparation you had before will not come up again because the struggling mentality will wane and you will reduce your passion. That's what those appraiser and those incoming will do. So they will end up reducing your passion for struggling again because you believe you've arrived, and you can't put yourself in any stressing condition mood again because you are now a king of the community, the king of your school, the boss of the entire state, and oh, definitely you've arrived. And when that condition comes upon you, that is very dangerous because that will prevent you from not looking into the strategies you need to reapply, from not looking into the refortification skills you need to adopt so as to be able to empower yourself and fortify yourself and then go back to any of the school you've applied and then completely smash their pursuing. So you have to look out for self-pride and those ego that will be stimulated in you when people pray start coming. So what you have to do now is you need to be wise to watch out for pride that comes from appraisal of scoring high jam score. And then you have to be able to insulate yourself from those praises as they are coming. Be able to form an insulating bulwarks around yourself so as to be able to boomerang those praises and then still be yourself, your initial self that was struggling to get high jam score. That is that it is in that mode you need to be so that you finally get your admission this year. If you didn't get into that mode and you allow people appraisal to get into your brain, of course you definitely you may not get admission because all you need to do is to the only thing that can give you admission is not that jam score. You still have your pursuit to write. And so if you rely on your laurel and on people encomium, you will end up not doing the best to get the best out of the next round of the battle, which is the pursuit. And psychologists have been able to tell us that the greatest enemy of success is success itself. So now you've been able to achieve success by scoring 300, by scoring 320, by scoring 340, by scoring 330, 350, and scoring 280, 290, 270. That is a great success you had already. But the only thing that can equally make that success not to be a reality, not to be a realized success at the end of the admission struggle is you giving into the laurels that comes aftermath this initial success. So you need to watch out, friend. You need to be wise. If you've scored a very high jump score, don't allow praise of people to make you to sit back from the struggling spirit you had before. Readopt that spirit. That is what I want you to do. Readopt that spirit. In fact, you have to strengthen your struggle for getting admission. Everything you've done while you were preparing for the Jamb examination that we're able to give you the score you had now, you should do more. Increase the momentum of your preparation. If you've been going to the library, go more. I'm telling you, if you've been reading 4 hours before the JAMB exam, read 8 hours. And if you've been solving past questions, solve it more. Don't relax. Don't allow your JAMB score to get into your head, because if you do, it is definite that you may not get admission this year. Because by the time the PUSUME time comes for your exams, you will find out that when you are in the exam hall, you find out that you've virtually lost all the facts needed for you to smash the school PUSUME and get the best out of it. So my information to you is that you have to readopt that struggling spirit you had before and then strengthen it. Get the necessary materials you need to get as with respect to your school PUSUME examination. Get them, buy them, and then get another textbooks you need to get. Whatever you need to buy them. Read, make inquiry into your school, make inquiry and know about your school PUSUME examination, and start giving it a preparatory spirit. Start giving it a preparation from now. It should be done little by little, poco a poco, but with great efficiency. If you can do this as a high jump scorer, I guarantee you that your admission into any university you've selected would definitely be a reality, and into any course of your choice would definitely be a reality. So, in conclusion, for high jump scorer, don't allow the praise of people to sedate your struggling ability and to wane your passion for studying. And of course, don't allow the people appraiser to make you not to think and to focus more on how to have a greater jams, a greater PUSUME score as the PUSUME of your school will soon come up. And then the second phase of your JAM score not being able to give you admission this year is those that have very low JAM score. One thing that having low JAM score does is that it makes you feel self-pity. It gives you a sense of doubt that, wow, I am not able to score high again. Why did I score such low score? Are you sure this score will be able to give me admission? You start building up doubt in yourself. You start disbelieving your ability to score high. And that's where your failure begins. So, but if no matter how low your JAM score, provided it's not less than 120, I guarantee you that you can get admission with it. Because I have seen so many people with 150 that got admission into federal universities. I've seen so many people with 180, 190, 170, with 210, 220 that got admission to study courses of great importance and great value in so many federal universities in our nations today. But where that success begins is for you not to see yourself as a failure because you had JAM score. You have to still have that vision of getting admission that you had before you wrote the JAM. You have to increase that passion and still believe that you can still get admission this year with the JAM score. So once you have that spirit of self-pity eradicated out of yourself, having seen your JAM score, and that spirit of self-doubt eradicated out of yourself, having seen your low JAM score, that is the beginning of you completely overcoming the battle of getting admission. That is it. And then it will also make you to go back and increase your momentum of study, because you already know that those who scored high on a normal scale of preference stand a better chance of getting admitted into the university. So you that scored low should first of all empower yourself, believe you get all it takes to still get admission, and then re-strategize, increase your reading pace, increase your reading momentum, and do more than you had not done before as regard the preparation for your school PUSUME. But don't allow the low JAM score to cause you to relapse and relax and don't do more. Because if you do that, definitely you will not get any admission. But if you can stand up and re-strategize yourself and believe you can get admission and start reading more than you've read before, I'm telling you, no matter how low your JAM score is, you will still definitely get admitted this year to study in Nigerian university. Now, the number two factor that you need to overcome so as to be able to get admitted this year is rigidity in your choice of school. Rigidity on choice of school. Now, this factor I think comes after you've written the PUSUME of your respective first school of choice. Now, the point here is that it is good for everybody to have a first choice school. It is very good, very, very good for everybody to have a first choice school, because it gives people that belief that you have a sense of direction. But sometimes, after you've written the PUSUME of your various choice of school, or they've done online screening, and then if you've seen that your aggregated score is not kind of close, even if it is close, but not on that selected cutoff point for your respective courses in that school, it is wise that you have to be very flexible and then remove your name from that school as fast as possible to any other school that is accredited by NUC and that does that that same course you applied in that school, that your aggregated scores you're not able to give the cutoff mark that can give you the course. Look for another available school whose pursuing form is still available and change to. But if you are rigid and then you know that you've written the pursuing of that school and your cutoff mark, your aggregated score is not anyway close, even if it is close but not exactly the cutoff mark, and you still relax and say, "Wow, I believe they will still consider me." You are still believing, but you are not assured. The short thing is that you may not get that admission. So you have to be wise, friends. You have to be wise after you've written your school pursuing me and your aggregate is not closer to that school cutoff mark for your respective courses. Check out for other available schools and then pick their pursuing form. Do change of institution as fast as possible. That's what flexibility entails. And then change. And then of course, if there's still light in the end of the tunnel, you will definitely get admission. But if you remain rigid, I cannot change. I believe this school will still consider me, perhaps in their second list. I believe this school will still come, perhaps in their third list. You are wasting your time. And that admission may not come. You know why I'm telling you this? Because I've experienced it. I had friends, like one of my friend in 2020, in 2019 exactly, he wrote Jam and then he scored he scored 331. He scored 331. But he applied to a particular Nigerian university. And that year, that university did online screening using O level. And then my friend, did not actually have a very great O level because he had C's and some B's, but majorly C. So after the online screening stuff, the school gave him around 220, 200 aggregated score. And then I think that school last year cutoff mark for the course he applied to medicine actually was around 280, 290. But with his 330 score and with his O level combined together, the school gave him about 220. So that guy was too wise not to allow his 330 score to waste. So what he did was that he immediately looked for another available university and then changed to that school. He did that as fast as possible without believing that his jam score would still make the school to reconsider him and give him admission. He did not do that. What he was wise enough and rational to change immediately. So he changed to another available school that has that has medicine and surgery accredited, and then he bought the after some weeks his name reflected in the school portal, and then he registered for the online screening. That school equally did online screening, but that school after 2 weeks gave him admission to study medicine and surgery. Now think about it. If this my friend was rigid on the other school, he would have lost out of that admission and his jam score would have been a waste. Can you imagine that 331 being wasted? But he was wise enough not to allow rigidity to have stampeded him to a particular score and have stagnated him. And then what he did was he changed and he got admitted. Now, I had another friend who scored 328 that same year to study medicine and surgery in another university in Nigeria. But after the PUSUEMI examination, he was not able to score up to the cutoff mark. He was very close. I think that school cut 81 that year, but his cutoff point was 79. I think it was 79. So, but my friend was too wise enough not to allow himself to be under the euphoria, under the belief that that school will still consider him. So, but what he did was he looked for another available university whose pursuing form is still available. He changed immediately to that school, and of course, after some time, the school gave him admission to study medicine and surgery, and that was why. And his jam score did not waste that year. Okay, but I have another friend who equally scored 349, and then that was 2019. No, that was 2020. He got 349. He applied to another university. He applied to another university. I think I have to call this the university this time around. He applied to University of Ibadan with 349. But he wrote the PUSUEMI that year. That was 2020. He wrote the PUSUEMI that year. and he was able to score around. I think he was able to score around 60, 65 or around 60. That was what he scored. But his aggregate was around 72, 73. I think 72. But that year, 2020, I think UI was able to cut 76. That was what UI cut. But my friend never changed his school. He never changed. He still remained in UI, believing that he is going to get that admission. But after some time, the school UI did not give him any course. He failed out. He lost out that year with that great jam score 341. Can you imagine that? So the point is that you have to be very careful. If your school has a standard cutoff mark, and then you have been able to write the PUSUMI, and you know that your score is not close to that school's cutoff mark, you have to change immediately to another school. Don't be rigid to a particular school and believing they will give you admission into that school when you know your jam score is not even, your PUSUMI aggregate is not close. So you have to be wise. This is what will hamper you from getting admitted into your course of study if you don't make the necessary correction and if you don't act fast. You know why? I think the reason why people are not willing to change their school of choice when they know that they will not even get it from rational evaluation is because they see other schools as not important. I think they see other schools as not up to their standard. And I think that's not good. People don't that's what has been preventing a whole lot of people from not getting admission. Some people tell themselves, if not this school, no school. If I did not get admission in this school, I will not get the admission. I will not go for that course. So they believe that the admission must be in a particular school, and that is why they keep repeating jam. They write jam this year. They did not get it in that school. They will write jam another year, and because they did not get it in that school, they will write jam another year again, and because they will still be repeating jam examination, all because they want to go to a particular school, and that is very bad. So if you are in that category, please, you have to stop that mentality. The reason is because schools are not actually what to bring out the best out of your life. No, no, it's not school. School is not the one that will make you best. It's not the one that will make, if you want to be a medical doctor, it is not school that will make you the best medical doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, it is not school that will make you the best lawyer. If you want to be an agricultural engineer, or you want to be a linguist, you want to study English and literary studies, it is not the school that you attend that will bring out the best out of you. But it is your action within any school that you go that will bring out the best out of you. So no matter the school you attend, if you know what you want and you re-strategize yourself to do the right thing, you will see yourself becoming the best in that field of your choice. So it's not about school. That's what people don't know. It's not about school. School cannot make you the great man you want to be. If you're not responsive, if you're not sensitive to do the right thing, you will still go to the best school and come out not being the best in the society. So that is why you have to be wise. And I think education psychologists they've been able to prove to us that environment doesn't define a man. Environment doesn't define a man. It is a man that defines himself within every environment he finds himself. So if you want to be a genius, if you want to be a great man, if you want to be a great medical doctor, it is not the school you attend, though the school you attend have a part to play. But I think education psychologists have been able to give us the percentage range of the input schools, environment of schools does, and the input of student does, and how it affects them. They've been able to tell us that 30% of our academic success comes from the school we attend. But majorly 70% comes from our own struggle and our own determination. So you see, your own personal discretion to succeed and your action outweighs the school input. And that is why, if you're wise enough, if your school you applied as your first choice is not forthcoming with the potential to give you your choosing course in that school, change to another school that still have the option for you to apply for PUSUMI, and then go to that school with the mentality to be the best. You still go there and you still see yourself being if you do the necessary thing. So it's not about school, my friend. This is what I want you people to understand. This has kept so many people at home for so many time, for so many years. I've known people that have written jam for 4 years, people that are written jam for 5 years, people that are written jam for 7, 8 years, all because they want to go to a particular school of choice. So please, you have to erase that mentality out of your life. It is not school that will make you the best. Going to any school you think is the best cannot make you the best. It is your choice to be the best, even in the most impoverished school, that will make you the best. So you got to be wise. So if you've written your POSUME or you've done your screening and your aggregated score is not promising enough to get you admitted into that first choice of your school, do change of institution after you've checked, after you've compared and contrasted, and then you've seen that the other school has the potential of getting you admitted, change and then get admission and be the best you want to be by doing the right thing. And I'm promising you, you will come out at the apex, on the apex of your selected choice of career. So that is what you have to do, and that's the only thing that can give you admission into your that can give you admission this year and not prevent you from getting admitted. So what you have to do is to shun rigidity in school of choice. Don't be too rigid. If not this school, no admit. If you do that, I promise you, you will miss out from getting admission this year. But that is not your portion. Definitely, I must tell you, congratulations for getting being admitted this year. And of course, I think I will attend your matriculation if you invite me. So, but you have to be wise, not to be rigid. Be sensitive and watch out for schools that are available. If this other school you apply is not sensitive to give you that admission. Now, the third point, which can prevent you from getting admitted this year, is also rigidity in choice of course. Rigidity in choice of course. As people are rigid to attend a particular school, some other people are equally rigid to do a particular course. And that is what has been hindering people from getting admission into universities. They keep writing jam. I've known somebody who had written jam for so many years just because he wanted to do a particular course. Now, it's not bad for you to be decisive in what you do in life. It's not bad. If you want to do medicine and surgery, that's good. That's good. But you don't have to be too rigid as not to take opportunities. Opportunities are very good. Now, I've known somebody who wrote jam, and in fact, let me use myself for example. It happened to me. I wrote jam for medicine and surgery a particular year, and I applied to a university. And after everything, the university told me in my jam caps that I should change to medlab, that the school wants to transfer me to medical laboratory science, that I should either accept it or reject it. But when I got to the caps, I saw that. I looked at it. I said, wow, what will I do now? All I want is medicine. That's my heart. But something in me told me, and from advice, that I should accept the medlab. I clicked the accept button and I was given the medlab. So I had to go to the school. I did the medlab. For that 100 level, I was doing the medlab. But I discovered that while I was doing the medlab, it was everything I was preparing for JAMB in my O level that we were taught in that 100 level. So I registered for another JAMB, and that gave me opportunity to go back to JAMB examination. I wrote, and that was what gave me that very great JAMB score that I had, that now gave me medicine that I'm studying in my school today. So don't be too rigid not to accept any course if it is not your first course of choice, because that course may likely give you the privilege or the opportunity to transit into your choice of course, your choosing course if you're wise enough. What it means is that if you've actually written your POSUME and your school have said that they want to change it to a particular school, to a particular course, and then you are too rigid not to accept it. It's your choice. You can either accept it or not accept it. That means if you accept it, you are willingly letting yourself not to get admitted that year. It's your choice now. You are getting yourself out of the school environment personally that year. But if you're wise enough, you can select that course, get into the university system first, and then study for any particular year. You will get experience that will help you transit to any course you want to study. And instead of going back at home and still staying back at home and then allowing your brain to get itself attached to some other fact or to some other concept that is not academically related. But once you get that course and accept it, which is not your first choice course, you will get into the school environment, and I think then you'll be able to nurture your brain to come back and backfire jump and get the best out of your life. So that is what you have to do. Don't be too rigid this year. Don't be too rigid that if you did not get your first course, your choice, your first course of choice, that you are not getting into school. Don't do that. Be flexible and allow yourself to get into the university system. And I know if you can shun rigidity in your life as regard this choice of course, you will rejoice at the end of this year's admission process because definitely you are getting admitted. And then the last point I want you to know that can hamper you from not getting admission this year is lack of prayer and dependence on God. Lack of prayer and dependence on God. This year, in fact, recently these days, people don't depend on God again for admission. They depend on connection. And in fact, connection in admission is now the order of the day. People don't believe it's possible to naturally get admission with your jam score, except you have long leg. That's what they said. You will not get admission into a particular school. But that's a fallacy, and it actually is stereotype. Yes, if God still does his own thing, his own way. The Bible says the earth is the Lord and his fullness thereof. And the Bible says, he to whom the Lord will show mercy, of course he will show mercy. So if you believe that you are getting admission under the auspices of God's power and God's ability, he will give you that admission. There is nothing impossible for the Lord to do. And that is why you have to stop putting your confidence and hope on man. Don't do that. If you've been doing that before, shun it. Rely on God. The Bible says, lead not on your own on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge the Lord, and He will direct your path. He will help you get your admission. Even the same scripture told us that you have to commit your thoughts into the hand of the Lord, and He will establish your plan. So you have to depend on God. Every day, pray. Tell God, this is my jam score. And I know with you, nothing is impossible. To some other people, this score may not give me my desired course. But I believe with God, you will do it for me. If you keep telling God with faith in you and not doubting, and believe that God would do it. Do you understand? But to some extent, you have to be very, very rational sometimes. If your jam score is far from the expected cutoff mark, you have to apply the principle I told you in the number two factor, rigidity on choice. You have to be flexible to change to any school that the Spirit of the Lord is leading, because it is when you pray and ask God that the Bible said He will direct you. But if you are not praying, God will not, it will direct you. Perhaps it is God that will lead you very well. So if you are depending on God, God has a way of directing you to get that course you want and to get that school you want, by leading or to lead you to another school that He wants you to be in. It's God. That depend on God. He will lead you aright and will give you that thing you ask of Him. So if you've been depending on man, some people believe my father, my uncle is a lecturer in that school. My father is a lecturer in that school. My uncle is working there. My father is the VC. And that has been their regulating mentality that will give them admission. But that's fallacious. So if you've been depending on man, shun that in your life, and from today, release yourself to God and leave that process of admission in the hand of God through prayer. And through the Spirit of God, you'll be directed aright on what to do. And I'm promising you, you will not lose your admission. You will certainly be admitted. So that is it on 4 factors on how or why you may not get admitted this year. So I've been able to break these 4 factors, and I know that if you can apply all of these factors, if you can not as a high jump scorer, I've told you, you don't have to depend on people's salary. Don't allow your jump score to blind your struggling mentality. Readopt the initial momentum you had before, and then re-strategize on how to conquer the pursuing me. And as a low jump scorer, don't believe that you are a failure. Re-encourage yourself and re-empower yourself by giving yourself more reading skills that you never had before, and then you see yourself getting that admission you think you can't get. And if you are rigid, don't be rigid in your choice of institution. Your first choice has not given you that admission. Of course, look for another available schools accredited by NUC and get that course you are aspiring to get, and still be the best you want by doing the best thing you have to do. That will never be a denier of your success. You'll still be great if you not be rigid. Any school you get to, I told you, you can still make the best out of it if you really put up that serious futures that is expected of you. And you don't have to be rigid on your choice of course. If a school is giving you another opportunity for another course, accept it and go in, and then use it as an opportunity to transit into your next into your expected choice of course. And I'm telling you, you'll be happy you did. And then you also have to depend on God, because in Him lies your victory and in Him lies your success. So these are the factors you need to know so that you'll be able to get admission this year. And I definitely know if you can give into all of those things, your admission is certainly guaranteed this year. So that is it in James Repository. Please, if you've not subscribed, please do it before the video ends now. Thank you for watching. Please watch out for other series of Jamb admission videos here in James Repository, because more will still come. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.